Listeners, thank you for being here today. And my intention through today's episode, which is the brand new Dream Career Freedom podcast, is to encourage career professionals, to let them know that whatever it is that they want to achieve in their career, if they can work towards it. So, how do we create that career freedom? How do we get that job that we want to be working in? Understand why is it some people get it easy. A lot of us ask this question. Oh, that person is able to get that job just like that. No one gets it easy. Everyone's worked hard to get to where they want to be, or they've networked smartly with intentionality by consistently delivering values with evidence that got them noticed on their career journey. Now, today, our guest is also someone that I have come across on LinkedIn, and his profile drew me to talk to him about his career path, try to understand how is it that he helps identify top talent in the UAE. He's worked in other parts of the world as well, but currently based in the UAE, he would be talking to different nationalities all over the world. Being a recruitment manager myself in the past, I have interacted with more than 45 nationalities over the last 12 years. So, today I'm talking to a leading executive HR. He is actually a talent acquisition specialist, and we are asking them if they are ready to pass the baton on. They are ready to raise awareness so that individuals like you who are listening today will understand the ultimate career strategy to success. We all need to support each other and mentor each other for the betterment, not just for ourselves, but for our whole community and our country as well. We all know that if one individual is empowered, it will create a ripple effect. We have with us Arjun Raj, Talent Operations Lead. So thank you so much for being with us here today. And I really admire your career journey. So welcome to the Dream Career Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me, Fatma. It's a
Perfect.
pleasure having a session with you.
Wonderful. So, Arjun, the Dream Career Freedom series, it focuses exclusively on helping professionals understand, anybody in particular, to
Yes.
understand how they can get started to a career that is, that gives them the freedom to do what they truly love. How can I get hired to that
Sure.
job? So, do you, first of all, agree that the baton needs to be passed on, and why?
Definitely, the pattern needs to be passed. Unless it's not passed, the cycle will not complete. You have to pass the baton to the next, whomever is coming to next. You have to pass it, and you have to move forward as well. So you cannot stay in the same position that you are in right now. You have to move your career and let others take over the role or the responsibilities. Anything that you do, you have to teach them or give them an experience. So, for example, at the place that I work, I make sure that people join us grow eventually. So we don't want people to feel like if you join today after 6 months, you have to look back and see, oh, I've learned so much. Another year, you have to say that I've learned so much, I've grown so much. So the learning part needs to be felt within rather than feeling like I'm doing the same job every day. I'm coming to office every day. Nothing changes. My pay doesn't change. My title doesn't change. So eventually, the growth is defined in a way that the responsibility of the job that you do along with pay, along with title, everything needs to be changed. So baton definitely needs to be passed to upcoming people, upcoming youth or youngsters, or anyone who wanted to do something in their life which they see or which they are passionate about.
Lovely. Are you currently doing that in your current role?
Definitely, I can say that. I've been working with this company for 6.5 years. So we primarily focus on hiring freshers. We have a program called LEAP, Learn, Experience, and Progress. This is the program that we have introduced. When I joined the company, it was like, let's say, 6 employees. When I started with a company which is a startup, now the company has 100 employees. I can be proud about the hiring strategy that I have built here. So one of the strategy that I introduced is the LEAP program, focusing on young talent in the region and giving them an opportunity to identify what you love to do. So it's a program that will enable you to shift around multiple tasks and responsibilities within the company and find out what is actually something that you are enjoying. So
Hmm.
keep that as your primary focus and start driving towards it. our expert team members will give you more opportunity, more freedom, more innovation space to come up with ideas and experiment it. So not a lot of companies focus a lot on youngsters or the young generation who's freshers, giving them an opportunity or giving them a huge responsibility to do a project. It's not something that I've seen in many companies. But
True.
here at TechCam, we take a lot of chances on these young stars. So, I mean, apparently it was something that eye-opening for us, how they are taking each and every project or responsibilities. I felt like they are doing more than an experienced person. The commitment level, the energy they have, the excitement they have is completely different. So I have my team. Uh, so the team I have, let's say, 5 employees in Dubai, and the rest are in other locations. All the 5 employees that I have in Dubai currently, they are all 3+ years of experience. All of them are joined as an intern. I haven't hired an experienced person. All of them are joined as an intern. They
Mhm.
converted to full time. They've been promoted to executive. They've been promoted to specialist role, and they are again, the journey is continuing to another role. They will step on a leadership role. So we will make sure that your growth is not stagnant. Your growth is always there exponentially. We will make sure that it is growing. So I think to answer your question, I am 100% sure that the baton is start through our company, which is something that we make sure it is done.
That is fantastic. That's fantastic. One of the mission of this podcast is to fix the broken employment system and to help at
Mhm.
least 100,000 individuals by listening, to get hired to jobs they love. So, having a career growth mindset in today's day and time when there's always talks about job cuts and, we are having a recession and, so many things, there's a lot of, air in the wind to say, and this causes a little bit of uncertainty for people who are currently in jobs that they do not love, and also for those who are trying to find a new job. So, intentionality helps you unlock the mindset. So, in today's podcast, let's discuss some habits, behaviors that you think could help them identify and transform their fears. So, tell us, Arjun, what helped you kickstart your career journey?
I think it's an interesting one. I'm not sure you have enough time to listen. I hope you can see my background is coming from an engineering background.
Yeah,
I'm not an HR professional. I don't have an HR degree with masters or any kind of HR degrees. All I did was completely an experience that I get from my job. So I did engineering and I worked as a small web developer in the initial early career stage. And I realized that it's not
interesting.
my a cup of tea. So obviously, I was lucky enough to understand my strength at the early stage and identify that this is not what I want to do in life.
But what were the signs that helped you identify that?
I was not enjoying that. I was not enjoying what I was doing. I felt I'm not made for sitting in front of the system and just coding or just doing something that doesn't make sense for me. At least for me, I mean, it's a great field for people to grow with hard software and IT technologies. We wouldn't be talking even. So
Yes,
the
yes.
technology that enable us to talk is software. So, but at least for me, it was not something that I enjoyed. So
So it
I
was
had to quit
boredom,
the job.
perhaps. Yeah, boredom.
Yeah,
No passion
yeah,
to wake up. Like
boredom,
didn't feel like
no
waking up.
passion to. Yes, I didn't feel like waking up and going to office. To be honest, like it was like um, the whole purpose was taking the job is to get some salary and need to fulfill the need. So I didn't want to continue that. I took a risk of
How?
resigning the job at early stage itself.
How you got that courage?
I I
You have to
had that
quit your
hope of
well-paid job, right?
yeah, I had that courage of doing it because I'm filled with a lot of friend circle that has been you know working in multiple companies. I have a lot of connections with my family around. So the courage I had was, if this is not something that I want to do, let's try to focus, or let's try to find something. Maybe I would join a course and try to find my passion and try to get a job. So there was no particular, because imagine it's a fresher who came out from college and I have hundreds of things going out my mind. So there is no particular thing that you can stick to, because the guidance that you get from engineering is you can go anywhere. Like we are trained to do anything. It's not like you can only do engineering. If you look at engineer statistics, engineers are everywhere. CEOs, to any kind of jobs you take, their background. sometimes it's an engineering degree. So we are capable to do anything and everything that's around with the world. I have decided to take in a course. I've decided to take in a course which was more towards improving my communication. I've been always having this interest in communicating with people. Initially, I thought I would be good in business development kind of job,
Mm-hmm.
BD jobs. So I thought of improving my communication. I moved to a city called Bangalore. So I thought where I go and I meet a lot of diverse people and the communication would be more improved because I come from Kerala and I studied in Tamil Nadu. My English wasn't that great. And I realized that and I wanted to improve. The only way to improve the English communication is to communicate. You cannot just read and, just listen to someone. You won't be speaking. You have to speak. You have to speak.
Yes.
You have to find people who communicate only in English. So I have to improve that. That was something that lacking in me. That was my a point that I need to improve, and I decided to take in a course. During the course, one of my friends told me, "You have, if you wanted to try something, try in call centers. You know how call center
Yes.
works; it's only communication." So I didn't want to join a call center because that would kind of demotivate me after completing
And then
engineering. And there
you,
is an
so you had
egoistic,
that
yeah,
ego
there's
in your head.
egoistic, yeah, there was an egoistic person running behind me. Then somewhere I saw an ad for IT recruiter, hiring IT recruiter freshers.
Okay,
So some company called Florid Consulting, and I thought let's give it a try.
let's give
I
it.
went for the interview. Yeah, I went for the interview, and they were offering like 7,000 in Bangalore city for a month, and my PG rent was around 6,000,
Oh my
and
God.
so I was like, okay, it's a job, and it's better to take something rather than nothing. So I
So
just
you
took the job.
so you
Yeah,
killed your inner voice and you took a
yes,
risk to try
yes,
out something that you don't even know you love yet.
yes. I joined the job. I took the job. I took the job because I found IT as IT recruiter, information technology recruiter, which is more focused on what I studied, and I tried to convince myself you're going for something that is within your expert level, within your education level. I joined the job is any consulting recruitment agency side where you get clients and you work on requirements like any kind of requirements they give, whether it's Java developer, .NET developer, Power BI, any kind of technology related development or any software related decisions, we have to work. I got initial training how to source through job boards, which is now Monster, LinkedIn. There's so many boards you can source profiles from. And I didn't find it very difficult to do it because you're coming from an engineering degree and sourcing platform or these things are very simple for us. And I just learned it very quickly. And
It
then I
was
find
your
it interesting.
language, right? It was your language, something that you
Yes,
understood.
yes. And the job description seemed very familiar, right? Yeah. So when you see the skill sets required, ASP.NET, Node.js, or any keywords that is used in software development. I know all of the platform languages, which is sounds familiar to me. I'm not an expert. I was not at all an expert in software development. So these terms sound familiar to me. What is front end, what is back end, what is database? These are something that basic things I know it. So it was easy for me to connect with candidate and ask questions to and understand that they are saying it right. So the screening call was very much easier for me after coming from it. Especially I come from computer science background.
Yeah.
So it was an easier call for me to take it, and more of my candidates sourcing were shortlisted from client side. And I get more closures and I get more onboardings within the few months after joining. The manager was
So
surprised, and after having without any experience, how are you doing it? I was like, I didn't find it very difficult. It was something that I enjoy doing it. I didn't find boring, or I didn't find. I was excited to, because when you get a closure, you know that the person joins.
I
The
know.
excitement from the candidate
Yeah.
that pushed me really high. I mean, this is the first time I'm having an experience with an external person. I am helping them to get a job with the company they love to work with,
Yeah.
and I felt
Gives
like this is
you
a nice feeling.
Yeah, it gives you a nice feeling, a feeling of, having something done, like a deserving candidate getting the job. So what
Yes.
you've actually done is taken out, from a boring job, you had the courage to quit it, kill the inner voice, because all of us have those two voices, one voice that empowers us and one voice that, constantly criticizes us. I mean, if you're standing in front of the mirror, three out of the five things that you would say about yourself would be reducing your confidence level. So we
True.
always need to watch our thoughts, and our actions have to align with our thoughts. So what you did next,
True.
you immediately took action. The awareness was there. You took action. You resigned your job and took up a job so that you can gain experience and see if you love it. Even though the salary was low, you took up the job to try it out. And guess what? You loved it
True.
because it
True.
fulfilled two of your passion. Now, talking to you, I can understand you're a people person. You just,
Yes.
I think we both started talking very easily as soon as we connected as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
You're able to find those common points of, they would call it like a grounding area where both of us can
Yes.
find a connection and talk. And I think that was a success when you took up this job, right?
Yes, I think not just that, when you felt you're comfortable. So for example, I can give you the same. So I was working with the company for almost 2 years, and I felt I got what I need. For example, after 1.5 year, 2 years, I got promoted to a team leadership role, which nobody in the company got, and everyone was just like, "How can you get into a team leadership role where there are people who's more than experienced than me in the company?" I was told to meet the client. I was going for the client meetings, and the trust between the CEO and myself had been established very strongly. But there was an instant I got a client called NIT, and the client were recruiting for Emirates Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
So the position is in Dubai. So I happen to have a lot of software development position, and I have to do a research on Dubai and to explain to candidate how Dubai looks, what is expense and everything. So I did a basic research and everything. I found Dubai very fascinating by doing the research with that requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So that requirement actually changed another thing in my life. By doing all of this, I had a thought of why am I stuck here? Maybe I have to find something internationally to get more exposure. I found a lot of good things about Dubai. Diverse country, people speak English, common languages, English, and there are people from different parts of the world where you can get an inspire and experience. I thought of overnight. It was a night decision to resign and travel Dubai on a visit visa.
Wow.
But there is a notice period in the company. That 2 months of notice period, I decided to connect with as many HR, as many managers that is in my relevant field through LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn worm. I sleep and I use LinkedIn as my primary social media. If you check my phone, the more time I spent is on LinkedIn rather than WhatsApp or Instagram. I don't have Facebook. So I try to spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn feeds is something that keep me always motivated and get updated
It's
on the
really
market.
empowering, isn't it?
Yes. So I connect a lot of people and I decided to leave, but my CEO were not letting me go. But I had to say a hard no to find out what is that. I have no idea what would happen
What's
after
in
coming
store?
here. I don't have a job. I don't have a job and I'm leaving a well paid job. Even after 2 years, they had given me a good package and they even have offered a better package, counter offer. But the intention was not the money. Intention was a challenge that I wanted to take. I don't want to be comfortable in somewhere. I wanted to see what is next. If it's failure, I have a thought. Even if I come back, I can just join the same company or find something else. I have that confidence. So I just took that. I came here. 2 months. There was no job. There's no interview, zero interview. I regretted a lot coming here. But that what something that pushed me is there is something that will happen. Something that will happen. And one day I got 3 interviews invitation. I scheduled it over the week, and I got 2 offer letters out of that.
Wow.
And I
How
took
did you
one.
get those interviews?
There was during that time posting it through newspaper ads was something that very common. And people find it very uh, niche way. So you go to Gulf News
Uh-huh.
and ask them to place an ad for you. You give your
Okay.
number, you give a one-line tag, what's your experience and everything. It comes through online platform as well as the offline platform. It goes for 3 or 4 days in the week,
Nice.
and luckily, I got a couple of calls and I made through 2 interviews and I got 2 offers. And I took one. So I joined,
Interesting. Interesting.
yes,
Advertising yourself on Gulf News. That is a fantastic
yes,
tip for someone who wants to get noticed out of the box, right?
yes. You try everything. I don't think walking into office with your CV is not an active, a smart way to do it. It
Mm-hmm.
is a way that always helped people, small companies who's not a big company, who's not a smart company, who's been hiring smartly. It has
Mm-hmm.
always worked on a typical company who just looked into work-in interview CVs and get. I don't want to join such companies as well. So I wanted to join company who put effort in recruiting people, who put really good, smart ways to hire people. So, but I don't think I made a right decision joining the first company
Why?
because
What went wrong? What was wrong in your research?
okay, it was not. See, the research was absolutely focused more on agency side, and I got it a lot of positive feedback from people who got recruited through that company. But people who were working with that company were completely removed and terminated because the manager's intention was to run or the CEO's intention was not to run a good recruitment company, rather than he had some other agenda to keep
It's
that
more about
company
profit
running.
making. Yeah, a lot of companies in the UAE, not particularly UAE, all over the world actually, India, UAE, the entire world have, especially recruitment companies. Most of them are profit based. There are very few companies that actually are very niche into the industry that they're working in. And when you specialize into a niche, you're able to
Yes,
deliver both sides, not just to the client, but even to the candidate. So as a HR, I know what you're feeling
yes.
because sometimes you will have to turn down even deserving candidates as well, because if you're not focused on a particular niche, you have so many things. So tell us during
I
sorry.
sorry, I don't mind if it's that level, but the research went wrong. The company CEO itself is not coming from an HR background or even a recruitment agency background. The business he set it up is for a completely different agenda, which I got to know on a later stage. And I felt like my career is, even though when you put had put a multiple targets for me, every time I achieve the target, every month it increases. So it was more of like personal insult and personal abuse that usually happen in that company. It's an Indian company. I don't want to name the company name or name the manager, which
Yeah.
is not something that I wanted to do. But it was a terrible experience of 1 year that I couldn't completely work there, even though I was more dedicated to my work and I love what I do. But the place made me to hate going office every day, and one day I had to take a decision again.
And quit.
Quitting the job is what
So
I need to do right now.
so the signs, again over here the awareness was there. So you were able to identify what how you were feeling at work. So these signs are very important, when you're choosing your career journey or whatever
Yes,
job you want
yes,
to work in.
yes.
How do you feel when you go to work, right? So you need to try and understand the toxic signs in your work culture, and you have to plan. So did you plan before you started quitting here? What were you doing the first 2 months before you quit?
Okay, I'll be very, very honest with you. The quitting happened out of all the emotions that I had over the time, and it reached a point where the company was started insulting my family and my personal life. So
It
I
was not good.
wasn't.
Yeah,
It
let's
was not good. So I wasn't be able to think about what is next, but I just wanted to get out of this and plan my.
plan your
I
career.
always had this strong, feeling about I'm not going to uh, be not having a job for a very long time with the skills and careers that I have. I will find something, but not today, but tomorrow I will have something.
Not today, but
But
tomorrow I will have something. I love that, that confidence in yourself,
yes,
that knowing that, I think one thing I've noticed in you is you have this kind of capacity to adapt and learn. You're ready to learn,
yes,
you're not hard on
yes,
yourself.
absolutely.
You're not saying, oh, you failed in this job. Oh, you couldn't stay. You're putting yourself to a better place by identifying the signs and the awareness. And also you're ready to work.
You a lot of people say when I share my comments about the company with people and my family and everyone, you know what they say. It's very common. You have to stick around. It's just the first year there. You're getting paid. At least they are paying you. I mean, they are not paying me for free. I mean, I'm working
You're
hard.
working.
I'm putting my efforts. So
Yeah,
they are paying me for the work that I do. It's not something that charity work I'm doing. They are
exactly.
paying me for the work I do, and even though I know that it's underpaying, which still I put more effort to make sure that I'm enjoying my job. But when I quit the job, this is what I think there is something from God's side that is being blessed on me. Uh, so the first week I was jobless, and the second week I was placed in the company. So this was the life changing event for my entire life, and I'm kind of the happiest person where I'm currently working. The company I work in, the manager, the CEO,
How
everyone
did
that
you
I'm
get
working
hired
with.
here? How did you get hired there?
Okay, this is an interesting. So I've seen a post on LinkedIn. I've seen a post on LinkedIn. It was just a post, one line post. They are
Uh-huh.
looking for a recruitment specialist. The company called ITCAN, and the post was done by the CEO itself. So the CEO is basically a Saudi Arabian nationality. All I did was I know that what is a recruiter look for, right? So I come from a recruitment background. So I sent in my message saying that, hey Mansoor, his name is Mansoor. Hey Mansoor, I've seen your ad for a recruitment specialist. I think my experience and my specialities are matching with your job. Here are my details for your reference. I put my name, put my experience, put my relevant experience. I put notice period. I put salary and negotiable salary up to and when can I join? Everything. So all the details that you need to know from without calling me, I have given. So the next moment I got a response. Can you come to this place on? We can have a meeting. So I went for the meeting, and we had a very good conversations about recruitment and
Mhm.
HR and life and everything. But I was going. I went for an interview with with the HR picture in outside is well suited and with blazers and everything. I went for the interview and I was sitting in the interview and I had a very good chat. The next message I got from the CEO is in the evening after the interview, we liked you and we just have one concern. We just wanted to see if you fit in the culture. Can you come in more casual attire? This is what he asked me to do, more casual attire. I was like, that's something that I wanted to do. And this is me. I'm more casual. I don't want to create a picture of HR being a person that cannot be approached. I wanted to create a different identity for HR.
Mhm.
I was so happy to receive that message. I said, yeah, of course. I went for the interview the next day. The entire company, there were about 7 people. That's a startup company. The entire company took on the other table, and I was sitting on the opposite. So the 7 people who was interviewing me, they
Wow.
just wanted to see if I fit in their culture. The culture is very amazing. It was more of like a family. So I was able to with people communication skills or let's say connecting skills with people. I was able to connect with everyone. I was trying to find each and everyone's common interest, and I was connecting myself with
How
them.
did you do that?
So
Did you research them before you
by
went to the interview?
yes, I did. I did a lot of research on people who works there. Some people are from India, some people are from Palestine, some people are from Saudi, some are from different parts of the world. And I tried to connect everyone's interest. And I saw you on LinkedIn. I saw you had the degree. I saw you studied in this university. We started connecting, and
So you
it was a
used
very
LinkedIn
good
to do your
experience.
research about them. Very
Yes.
good.
I've been offered on the same day, and he asked me to join on the next day.
Fantastic.
So it was a life changing event, and I still remember the day of joining until date.
Mhm.
The kind of influence the person and the company made in my life is completely changed. More of like career wise, wealth wise, family wise, health wise, mental health wise. Every each and everything in my life has changed after joining this company. I can say that this is one of the dream company I'm working with.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Tell us, Arjun, what are the top habits that help you stay organized? How do you stay on top of your game?
I think being up to date with what's happening in the market is very much required because every market works on different pulse. So Indian market works. So if you try to get an offer as a recruiter, if you try to find a candidate in Indian market,
Mm-hmm.
you have to expect that the candidate is not going to join on the same joining because they will get multiple offers. So from a candidate perspective, I would say that you will need to always look for updated job techniques,
Mm-hmm.
or let's say that the CV techniques. For example, the CV, I've seen a lot of CVs, I still see a lot of CVs. Sometimes I don't find interested to read the CV. It's a lot of information, like 5, 7 pages CV. You have to understand that we are not here to read entire CV. We won't read the CV entirely. We might have an automated system that captures some of the keyword that we are feeding to the system, find these keywords, or we put some Boolean search, an entire 5, 6 page CV. If you don't put the right keyword, you are not coming in the search. Even though you are an expert in your field, if your CV is not written well, I quoted myself, your CV is your key to the door. So if you don't make the right key, you won't be able to open the door.
The door.
So
Yes.
you have to make sure that you are making the right key. If you put a wrong key, the door is not going to open.
Yes.
So as long as you're investing in yourself, learning, advancing your knowledge, creating a profile. When I say profile, it could be a portfolio, CV, or anything, standing out. There are thousands of people. If you are not standing out with your skills, you are not going to get hired. You have to make some difference in the interview. You have to make some connections in the interview. You have to make a difference. Otherwise, you are just a common person.
And I think the CV is the first step for that, to build that, establish that connection. What you write on your CV would actually even draw the entire conversation sometimes in an interview. So the CV is what actually helps us to get on to the interview, to actually get you to see who that person is. And I think that is a very great tip that you've given, that the CV is the key to opening the doors to.
I think you have to invest. You have to invest enough time to making the CV. So at least I believe if somebody is not investing enough time to build the CV, they're not going to invest time for the company, because CV is for yourself. You're not investing time for yourself to make it better. And how can I expect you to invest your time in the company?
Great point. Listeners, listen to that. The CV is what helps you even build a little bit of it's like the cover of a book, I would say. Before we actually open the book, we need to understand, the summary of what that person does so that we can even read the story. I love that, explanation that you've given, Arjun.
I know that people might say that don't judge the book with its cover and everything, but it doesn't happen in human resource. We have to judge you based on what is the CV. I mean, imagine our situation. I mean, it's easy for everyone to say, even me as a candidate, it's easy for me to say I applied this company and I didn't get a response. It's a shitty company. They don't even get given a response. It's not like that. Maybe I didn't even put in effort to make it something different. So maybe my CV is not something that is for that particular job. I need to make a better CV. I need to find the keyword that matches. I wanted to say to the audience that you have is most of the company is using ATS, application tracking system, that has an inbuilt uh, keyword tracking system where it captures a particular keyword. For example, I'm creating a job description for a project manager. Most of the keyword I feed to the system will be PMP certifications, any methodology like waterfall or agile or any methodologies or project management keywords or software development. So the keywords that are very much important in your CV is what we look for. Maybe your projects or client details is not important for us. The primary things will be focused on the skill set. If you put these skill set in your CVs, automatically your CVs will come on top of the search.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great tip, Arjun. Thank you so much. Could you tell me, as a HR, you've seen and you've interviewed so many people, right? So, what is the common internal or external factor that hold people back? That you
So when you say hold people back, in an
might think,
interview or
yeah, in an interview, you might think, oh my God, that candidate was good, but if you could have done this,
okay,
or
I'll
if
tell
you
you.
could have done that, yeah.
I'll tell you. At least in our company, it's mostly the culture. Okay, so we have the same. We have to build the company based on values, right? So we do not compromise our values for any candidates. Not everyone is fit for every company. So some company focus on only workaholic people. Some company focus on more fun people. It depends on company's values. It's every company is not a place for everyone.
Yeah.
It's clear that in that case every company needs to hire everyone. So you won't be having any rejection from any company. So the criteria here for culture is something that you have to earn the job with your skill set. That's something that you can develop, you can enjoy. But the attitude and the personality which each company looks for is different. For example, at least in my company, we look for relation, innovation, and knowledge. These are the three values that we hold. When it comes to our culture, we created a very nice atmosphere in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom to express, be yourself. You don't need to act yourself. You can express whatever the feelings that you have. We don't have racism in the company. We have about 16, 17 different nationalities, diverse nationalities,
Mm-hmm.
freedom to express your ideas, also to work on your ideas and see if it's working, freedom to test everything and take the failure. We don't blame on your failure. We actually promote failures to learn from the mistakes. We have most of things here, and it's a very friendly, open environment. We don't have a door between a CEO or an intern. We don't have a door between a manager and another manager. From my team to another team, it's easy access. We use a platform called Slack for communication. We enable communication for everyone individually and groups. So we try to do a lot of activities to make employees happy in the workplace. I think if you take a survey in the company, you will see the question that you ask every morning. If you woke up, do you feel like going to office? Everyone say that I want to go to office. That's what the culture is. So that's how we promote the culture. We have a lot of activities. We can
So
talk about.
you
I can
look
talk
for
about like
so you look for the
yeah.
values that these people have. So how do you like what kind of
I'll
questions
tell
do
you.
you ask to
Uh,
identify these values?
Definitely. So for relations, we try to ask questions related, mostly situational questions when you were in the situation. For example, you have a conflict with one of your employees and you don't feel comfortable working in the team. What will you do the next step? So, for example, you see that one of your colleague is having a conflict with another colleague. Will you do anything? You going to take an initiative to solve the issue? So we try to put themselves in a different scenarios, which they need to act like a good person, a very good personality level,
Empathetic?
uh, empathetic, not just empathetic, maybe sometimes it's a smart solution they need to give. So we try to put a lot of situational questions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we actually feel it from the person's communication itself, how we are connecting. Right now we are communicating, right?
Yeah.
From it's more of like an experience level, understanding your culture. We try to imagine, for example, I try to imagine this person works with this person. I know a lot of managers personally. If this person works with X person, this would be a great combination. This person has really crazy ideas. Like during the interview, he gives a lot of crazy ideas, and the manager likes the crazy ideas. People come up with crazy ideas, and this is the perfect match for the person.
Mm.
If I see a person who is low energy in the interview, who is very, what kind of only one word answers for any questions, he doesn't know how to express. Maybe this managers need someone who's very expressive, very dynamic, very energetic. So it all depends on how we understand the person in the interview by their physical, by their communication, by their answer, everything we put into calculation. And it's just not one person who is in the interview. We
Mm-hmm.
record our interview, we put panels, we take multiple panels, um, average scores, we put it in the weighted average scores and see if he or she is meeting the weighted average scores, then we advance the scale.
What if that person is skilled but still was nervous, scared during the interview, so he was not able to perform? How do you identify this? I mean, do you even identify it and give them a chance? If so, how do you do that?
See, some people, if we see, if it's a fresher level, yes, we do give chances. If it's a fresher, we understand fresher level, they have the fear of facing interview panel and everything. We do give chances to them. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's an experience level, we
Like, how do you
believe
give a
that.
chance? What do you do? Like, what is the like? It's like a medicine, right, for their fear. So, what is the medicine?
So, for example, during the interviews, we kind of feel it in the interview time itself, right? For example, in between, we try to change the topic. So when we felt like we asked, "Are you nervous?" and we the interview process itself more of an easy process. To be honest, it's not like a corporate interview.
Okay,
If you
so
try
you,
to
so you
attend
don't
any of
scare
our
the
interviews,
candidates, yeah?
we don't scare the candidate. We make it very comfortable. We tell the candidates, make it a conversation. We are just here to communicate. We are not here to interview. It's a common. You need to understand us. It's a both ways. The interview is always both ways. You are choosing the company, and I'm choosing you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the option to interview us. Also. You have the right to ask the question to us. It's not like we have only the right to ask questions in the session. You are choosing to work with us. You have the right to ask questions. So we make it very transparent. And if we felt you are nervous, we take a break. We talk about family, we
Drink
talk about
coffee or
friends,
something
we talk
like that.
about hobbies, offer coffees, offer water. We talk
You
about
set
how did you came to, yeah, how
you
you
set
came to
the
interview. Did you?
intention, right?
Yes,
Set the intention in the beginning of the interview so that you're already creating that comfort zone between you and the candidate. So the candidate knows, in case even if I mess up, he's going to be there to, kind of hold
yes,
back.
yes, yes. Definitely, during the interview, when the candidate felt more comfortable, we will advance the questions level based on how the candidate is responding. We will advance our question because we have a panel understanding. You act as a good cop, I act as a bad cop, and I will ask more stricter question to understand how candidate is responding. So it's like a role play that we have it in our internal team itself
Mhm.
to have a mixture of everything. So definitely the experience that people get coming to office and taking the interview is different. I kind of miss the personal interview feeling because everyone moved to video interviews and you're kind of missing the connections that you get in the real interviews, seeing the person, wishing the person.
That
It's different
handshake,
feel. Yes,
the handshake, I love
yes,
in-person interviews as well, and I'm
yes,
sure it's coming back because a lot of people do feel, the human connection is very important, especially for
yes.
critical roles, at least. If you see, if it's more of a software-based role, then yes, I think Zoom kind of interviews would
True. We are
stop.
a digital marketing company, so it's more of like people who's very creative, who's very good at communication. So we wanted to see the people, we wanted to feel them, and so when you walk in the office, I kind of feel he or she belongs to us. So
Mm,
from the first, because it comes with experience, I guess. I mean, I cannot put it in a measurement, or I cannot tell you that this is measurement I take
mhm.
to judge the person. It's though I keep myself don't judge him, don't judge him, but I have this inner person who is keep on telling me he's good or he's gonna. So, for example, that's something that I practice also. So when I meet someone first time for an interview, I take a call. Okay, he's good or he is not fit. If he's not fit, I try to ask questions. I try to make myself wrong, to ask questions to people, prove me wrong. I decided that you are not good fit. I ask build questions to make myself wrong, but 90% of the time, I was right with my
No,
intuition that I
instinct.
get from the
What helps
yes.
that
I
instinct? What is that thing that helps you make that decision? Is it
I
the
think over the time of meeting thousands of people every day, and you know what is qualified for the next round, you know what is getting shortlisted, because
Mhm.
it comes from an experience. I cannot
There
feed
must be
this
some
in
kind of
a
a physical
system.
quality or practice or attribute or something that they
See, to be
expect.
honest, to be honest, the way they wish, the way they carry themselves as a person, it matters because you need to be proud about yourself. You are not coming here to beg for a job. You're coming here for a
Mm,
job that you are holding a degree, holding an experience. You need to carry yourself. You
carry
are
it.
here to prove what are you good at,
Yes.
not here to beg for a job.
Yes. I love that. I love
So
that.
I
The confidence, you want to see that
yes,
confidence in them, that they
yes,
themselves know that they deserve this job. This job
yes,
is meant for me.
yes,
You want to see that. And you're able
yes.
to see that the minute they walk into the door, because that is where, they themselves express to you whether they are fit for the job.
True,
Right?
true.
I
Yes,
think it's a
exactly.
great.
So the way you carry yourself is what makes you, what at least makes me feel he is good or she is good. I
I
mean,
agree. I agree. When I used to work as a recruitment manager, these first few seconds, from the way they come in and greet you and take an interest to address your name, remember your name. A lot of times, if you see the people who step into the interview, they kind of suddenly forget the name. I know it might be nervousness, but addressing a person, it connects that personal connection. You are getting to
yes,
break the wall, and I love
yes,
tip that you gave. Thank you
yes,
so much, Arjun. I'm sure everyone would love this. Can you tell us
yes.
three, maybe, yeah, three most important values that you talked about your company values, right? So, what are the
Mm.
three values that you demonstrate daily? And it's like a big deal. You cannot be without demonstrating these three values.
I think first thing is obviously relation. I have to rely on my company's values because relation is something that I believe it just not in a professional life, also in a personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Valuing the relation, holding the relations is an important factor. You I mean,
How?
we're all humans. We're
Mm-hmm.
all humans. You need to build a connection. You need to have a very good relationship with any person that you meet, even if it's an intern, even if it's a CEO.
Yeah.
You need to have the unique ability to connect with people and maintain a very good relationship.
So,
You
what
never
values do you
know
demonstrate? What qualities do you demonstrate to express, to fulfill this?
communication.
I
You
mean,
have to communicate.
community.
Communication is the main key. I mean, you cannot sit and stare at a person to build a relationship.
Yes. Very
That's
true.
not going to help, right? So if I want to have a good relationship with you for any of my future or present work or even no work,
Mm-hmm.
I need to communicate with you. We need to share mutual interests. We need to understand what is our goal. The purpose of your goal is to make people more aware about the job market, how to get jobs, how to come out from your comfort zone, how to make sure that you're not alone in the market. There are people to help you out. So I do have similar interests. I wanted to help people. I wanted to make sure that people understand how the job market works. I wanted to help them to find different ways to get jobs. So what are the techniques you need to do? So this is how you connect with people,
Mm-hmm.
finding a common interest and communicate with them and hold that relationship. You don't have to communicate with them daily basis, like
Yes.
sending a message, good morning, good afternoon, good night. It's not something that you need to do.
Yeah.
Maintaining that professional connection. So I've seen that you have over 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. You didn't these 30,000 connections would not happen if you don't approach people or people
Absolutely.
approach you. So
Absolutely.
this is this is something that you take an initiative to connect with the people. You might be having mostly connection with HR people or within your industry. So you will only diverse this when you speak to people from a different industry.
Yes.
I try to make, for example, in my LinkedIn also, I do have more than 30,000 connection. I try to make sure that every day I connect with one or the other person from my industry or other industry. I feel like I should have a database for myself. If
Mm-hmm.
I am recruiting for someone, tomorrow you come and ask me, Arjun, I wanted to have a person for this job. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to use a paid software. I can go to my LinkedIn connection and find at least one person who has the skill. So
Yes.
that's my aim. So to build a community around you with multi-skilled people, multi-disciplined people, you have to do that. So communicating and
And the
building
first step
relationship.
towards that is communication and building a relationship. Very well said. And
Yes,
I can see that it helps also to actually create friendships also. These sometimes if you see
yes,
some of the connections that I built on LinkedIn, they are like friends to me right now. And
yes,
if I were to meet someone whom I communicated like 7 8 years ago on LinkedIn, I have a few friends. It feels
yes.
like you're meeting a school friend, or because you
True,
share
true,
passion, you share the
true.
industry knowledge. It's not
That's the connection you get.
you have something to talk about other than,
Yes,
hey, what did you watch on Netflix, right?
yes,
So great,
yes.
great. So if you could go back to your 18-year-old self, the one straight after college, what is that one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I think don't judge anything too early. It's like there is an egoistic person every person's mind when you step out from college. You judge everything very easily. Unlike I did call center job, I was like, no, this is very lower to my education qualification. Maybe that is the right job to take right now, and that would take you to a bigger place. That would enable you to connect with people who is helping you in your career. So obviously, don't judge everything too early. Give yourself time to take the next ladder. Take the first opportunity that you get, and don't take too much time to find out what you need. For example, I took my software career, but I understand. I evaluated myself. It is not. the right decision. Take that call. Even if it's a jobless situation, don't afraid to take a call, whether it's
Number
resignation,
three
whether
is
it's a job.
taking risks. Yeah.
Yes,
We've taken away three key, points from this conversation. Number one is communication. Number two is building relationships using that communication. And number three, without taking risks, you can't do the above two.
yes,
It comes
yes,
together
yes,
very well, Arjun. So, do you
yeah.
think being coached by a mentor or a coach is important?
Personally, if you ask me, yes, because nobody in the world has every knowledge. I guess. I mean, even Google is not having all the answers for any question that you have. It searches for different things and give you result based on the keywords that you're feeding. I think
Mhm.
humans are learning things from humans and their experiences. So I can learn things from you. So I'm not an expert in everything that I have within my hand. I feel like there is always a level up in your knowledge. So I can get coached by you from your experience. Maybe you had a lot of experience in practical life dealing with multiple people, and I might not be dealing the problems the right way, and I can get coached by you and the examples that you are giving, which will help me tackling the problems that I have it in life. Maybe, for example, give you an example like emotional intelligence is something that I'm very curious to learn and get coached about. I'm very attached to my team. I'm very close to my team. Sometimes your team can take leverage or
Yes,
abuse your freedom and everything. So you need to know, you need to self-aware where to draw
yes,
that line with the team member to identify that you sometimes you need a mentor, you need a coach to tell you this is how you need to perform in your personal and professional life because they are an expert in that. So it's like you're asking me, do you think you have to go to doctor right now if you're sick? So I think when you're struggling, I think it's better to go to an expert and get an advice.
very true.
So
Very true.
you can survive without going to doctor if it's a minor issues, but if it's a major issues, if you see, you have to
I mean,
consult
if you
someone.
can learn on your own, like if you can take your own self learning and you can do it, then well and good. Like you
Yes,
did it,
yes,
right? You learned on the job,
yes,
you took those
yes,
risks. So I'm going to add on another point here, to go back to our one, two, three. The first one, we're going to put awareness in the front. Then we take number two as communication. Number three is building relationship. And number four is
yes,
taking risks. So
yes.
if you could tell our listeners out there who feel stuck, in their jobs or who are currently unemployed, what is that one piece of advice you can give to them today?
Invest in yourself. Like you have Google as the best friend. If you put, I mean, I think I think the younger generation is so lucky that AI and different software is enabling their job is very easy to communicate and connect and build any skills in your professional life. You have an enormous of platform to learn skills. If you want to get into digital marketing, there are thousands of platforms who gives you basic digital marketing skill sets. So instead of applying for an internship or a job with zero experience or zero, uh, unlike just a college graduate CV, put all the certification that you're getting from all these platforms, which will definitely help you. Instead of wasting time on crippling the companies, why am I not getting interviewed or why am I not getting calls? Spend that time to build your skills, even though if it's a basic skill, interviewer is not going to ask you a 10-year experienced person question for an entry level job. You have to make sure that I have the basic skills. Build your CV, build your portfolio by having more skill sets. It is free. There are so many YouTube channels, there are so many websites that provide you free courses. Only find out what is that interest in you. At the early stage that you find the interest, the better. I know a lot of people who have shifted their career after 6, 7 years. I have a friend who works in civil industry, and after 7 years, he realized that it's not something that he loved. He moved to data analytics. He was good at numbers. From the college life, he was good at numbers. He was good at finding solutions.
Mm-hmm.
When he learned data analytics for 3 6 months course, now
He
he's
had that
very good
courage.
expert in it. Yes, he's expert in it, and he loves the job. He doesn't go to sunlight and under the construction area. He was not enjoying that. So I don't want people to take 6 years of careers to understand what you love, what is your
Yeah.
passion. The early stage that you understand, this is what my passion. Go for it. Chase your passion.
But
Chase
without
your dream.
trying it, you will
Nobody
not
is there to
know.
stop.
Without trying it,
Without
you will
trying
not
it, you will not do. So the more fear that we have is because what if I tried and it failed? If it failed, it's failed. It's okay. It's okay to fail. You know that it's not going to work out.
Yeah, lovely, lovely, Arjun. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the Intentionality Dream Career Freedom series. I hope the conversation that we had today helps all of our listeners to understand the main strategies and tips that will inspire them to pursue a career they love.
Yeah.
So to take away, wrap up our summary of our conversation, number one is awareness. Number two is communication. Number three is building relationships. And to do all of
Yes.
that, you need to take risks. And finally,
Yes.
what was the last thing that we said? The main thing is invest in yourself, because if you do not believe in yourself, who else will? Right? You need
Yes.
to believe in yourself. You need to know that
Definitely.
I deserve to have a career I love. I deserve to work in a job
Correct.
that lets me go back and spend time with my family, my friends, and be happy. And when you're happy, you spread the happiness around. That's what I think.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
Fantastic. Thank you, Arjun. Is there anything else you want to say?
Thank you so much.
I want to share your LinkedIn
I think,
profile on the
yeah,
bottom of the show notes so that people can
take
stay,
your time.
stay on your career path and follow you. They could probably get the latest hiring news from you, learn from you. Is that okay?
So, absolutely fine.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Arjun. It was a
Thank you
pleasure
so much.
talking to you. And our listeners today, I want to tell you, go after that job you love. Take away the key things that Arjun shared with us as a manager who has seen thousands and thousands of people, interviewed many candidates. He's given us some fantastic tips. Use that and go and be happy. So thank you so much for being a part of
Thank
the
you.
Intentionality series.